and everything that was going This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by Landmark Self-Storage in Leominster, landmarkselfstorage.com, and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, decarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success, enterprisebanking.com.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city. Thanks for watching. We do the show called Inside Leominster every week, Thursday nights, and then we replay it during the week, but we do it live Thursday nights, 4 to 5. And special occasions like, Christmas and the holidays, we do 6:30 to 7:30. And Art is unable to be with us today for those that watch for the Art Report, but Carp Piermarini is here with me. And speaking of that, Jack Hoover passed away.
Oh,
and
did he?
Jack was just getting in the last couple of years, just getting into his new role as Santa.
Right.
And
right.
he did a great job as Santa. And so Jack had a number of interests. He was into Camaros or cars, and then he owned the Halloween outlet there at the old Grossman's and collected. He had an incredible collection of. He owned that Whitney house up on.
Great stuff.
You've been into that house up on Merriam Ave, the Whitney house?
A long time ago, I think.
Yeah. He had an incredible collection of Christmas and holiday things that I bought. I purchased some of the things off of him, and he would say, how much this cost? And I would look, and it would be like lots of money that he spent. And so I didn't realize he was 70 years old, but his love of his life texted me the other night, and I was shocked and said, he passed away, and I was shocked because, I was just at a stroll with him.
Right.
And he came and chatted with me for a while, and we were talking because we were going to have him do the benches downtown. He was very handy, and he was going to take apart the benches downtown and strip them all down, sand everything down. John DeChico did one at Carter Park, and it came out beautiful, but John's busy, so he couldn't do it, so I had asked Jack, and he said, sure. So we were just starting to get them to the point where we could take them to him.
Wow.
So, too bad.
You never know.
Well, we're reaching that point in life now where we're like, this is the last quarter. This is it. 534-1626. We kind of left it open and get some information for you, but if you wanted to chat today, just call on the phone and we could talk about nothing.
That's right. This whole show will be about nothing.
Facebook shouldn't be the place where we all show up to complain.
Right.
Unfortunately, it will be the demise of Facebook because what happens is people are leaving social media and going to like Instagram and other places because it ends up being a place of complaint rather than, and so I like to see like anniversaries and new things, like babies and music and just fun things in people's lives. But I think the demise at some point is going to be, unless you're into that, So today somebody posted something about North Leominster traffic. Well, we had a gas line. We're doing $10 million worth of work. Yeah, occasionally. And then, why don't they keep building houses up in North Leominster? And I'm thinking, when was the last time they built a house up in North Leominster? I'm thinking to myself, when was that? When was the last time they built and I'm really thinking right now, when was the last time they built a house in North Leominster? I can't think of one. Maybe there's one. I mean, I'm sure there's one or two, but, so I was meeting with a couple of weeks ago, I was meeting with a group of younger people, under 28. And I said, you on Facebook? And they said, oh, no. I said, why? He says, just a bunch of old people complaining. Yeah. And I said, but at the same time, it's a chance for us to kind of, in the morning, we do our morning briefings, and we build friendships and relationships. and it's also a good way to, you know, promote events.
It serves a purpose.
It
I mean,
does.
a lot of families, it serves as a communication.
Right, because they have a closed, so you can build a group. You don't have to, on Facebook, you don't, I don't know about the other vehicles, but, you know, Twitter and stuff, but you don't have to have, you can just build a group, right?
Exactly. You don't need a million friends
Right.
that you really don't know, but they're kind of
Because
out there.
social media is a look inside. It's a look inside your life.
Right.
Like, it's like peeking in the window at your house.
It is.
Kind of watching what's going on. And some people are more than willing to share
yes.
everything that's
And,
going on.
You know, the thing you got to be careful with, and everyone knows this, is, you know, what you post there now is going to be there forever and ever and ever. So you must beware.
Yes, and somebody can screenshot it,
Yes.
something you say, and then of course you've got the "I was just kidding" thing, and I didn't add a smile, and I didn't really mean it. Somebody, then you have a battle with somebody. It's like, no, this is not why I came
Right.
here. I do like the other piece of it, which is the you know, somebody had a baby, or
Right.
you know, sometimes
Yeah.
people update you. Somebody might not
Yeah.
be doing well, and they're sick, and they update you as to let you know kind of what's going on. I think there are more positive parts of social media.
There are, but like you said, unfortunately, a lot of people use it for, you know, they're venting all the time about everything. And
it is draining.
yeah,
like,
it
just,
really is. It's,
we're getting like millions of dollars to fix roadways. Yeah, of course it's then it's why? Wow, that's real smart. These people are smart. What? They're doing construction during the daytime. Well, guess what? There are a lot of people that live in these neighborhoods
Right.
that don't want to listen to jackhammering all night
Yeah.
long. You know, so it's a balance. And so, yeah, it's, you know, it's the good with the bad, I guess, right?
the people that complain, they should take a ride to other cities and towns, you know, and check out their roads and their downtowns and compare.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. Sometimes I guess it's just venting. You know, you're stuck in traffic,
Yeah.
and you know, I do the same thing myself. But I guess I don't get to social media or anything. Last week I was downtown before the fire memorial there, and it was just picking up a little on Sunday morning. It was really early, and somebody came through with the loud. And I got no trouble with any kind of music. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
But it's Sunday morning. People are sleeping that live above the storefronts, and the music is just pounding. So I looked at the guy and said, "Hey, can you turn that down?" And he says, "Why? You're not paying for my car." And I said,
Wow.
"You're right, but I don't necessarily want to listen to
What's
your
that
music
got to
either."
do with anything?
And it's ironic because what our ordinance basically said is that the noise that comes from your car is meant for you and the occupants of your car, not for anybody else.
Right.
So as long as you can play as long as you want, as long as the only people that can hear it is you and the occupants of your car.
Sometimes I wonder if they, you know, a lot of them, the windows are open when they're playing that
Right.
stuff going down the street. That's because if they close the windows, it would probably shatter them
Yes.
from the base.
Right. And I don't want to sound like an old fogey here complaining about loud
Well, I
music,
am an
because
old
I like my music. I've been known
Right.
to crank it, right? You get on the highway or something and crank it, you know. And but the people like sleeping, you know, like Sunday morning.
Yep.
Some of these people work all week. It's their only day, and then boom, boom.
They don't think about that.
It's
you know.
right. So maybe we need to teach common sense in the classrooms.
That would be nice.
Respect.
Yeah.
So just like the people that go around and they're having a party in their neighborhood, and they don't really want you to come, and they know you won't come, but they're going to invite you because now that's like you signing off. So when they invite you to a party, basically they think you're signing off on all rights after that.
Right.
Like, we know that you're not going to actually come to the party, and we really don't want you to come to the party, but you're signing off so that now you can't complain.
Right.
Because then we'll say, well, I don't know why you're complaining. You could have come to the party. We invited you. Well, I know, but after 10 o'clock at night, I don't like to listen to Grand Funk Railroad because you've got a live band and fireworks and everything else. No.
Right.
So it's a balance between common sense, peace and quiet, and you can still have fun.
Yeah.
No one. I don't mind, like, personally, the chatter at a party and stuff doesn't keep me awake at night. It doesn't bother me. You know, the people talking and maybe a little louder than they should. You pop in the earbuds, fine. But somebody's, having giant party and it's now 12. You know, you wait. Well, I'll wait 10 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. It's 11:30. It's 12 o'clock. Yeah, but you know, so being a good neighbor doesn't just mean going to pick up any trash anybody left during the night, but it also means some courtesy, right?
Yeah.
You know, you can rent places where you can go and have a party, where, right? So you decide to have a party at your house. Well, maybe you send everybody on a trip. Maybe you say, listen, why don't you take a trip this weekend? We're having a party. And I know you don't want to come, but we don't want you to come. So here's what we'll do. What do you think of that?
That would work.
That would work.
That would work.
Yeah, we'll send you to Disney for the weekend. You're watching Inside Leominster. Carl and I hanging out. If you'd like to, you know, ask a question, call us with anything, 978-534-1626. And the peach truck is coming, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Did you hear me talking about the peach truck?
I don't know.
So the peach truck comes to like Tractor Supplies.
Yeah.
And you order your peaches online.
Yeah.
And you just go to Facebook or anywhere. They're everywhere. Twitter, they're everywhere. And you order your peaches, and then they get here and they're perfect. So they're not overripe.
Right.
Like I like to go to Sholin's and pull one off the tree. That's like perfect for eating today.
I see.
You know, the juice dripping down.
Yeah.
These are perfect in the sense that you can still can them. You
Right.
can still keep them in the refrigerator or whatever. They're not like, you could eat one today, but they're
Right.
not overripe.
Right.
Whereas I like should have picked it yesterday.
So this company
Company
specializes.
comes in. This is, they call it the peach truck.
Yeah.
Can you,
Have a call.
Keith, is Keith in?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
See if you can find a clip on the peach truck.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, we'll show it. Caller, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dio.
Do you like peaches?
Yes, I do.
All right, because the peach truck is coming.
Well,
The peach.
Nice.
And what's good about it is their season's before ours, so I'm not taking any business away from, say, Gove or
Right.
Sholin Farms or Dick's or anything. So this is like, they come early, so you get your first taste of peaches
wow. That's
before the
nice.
crop is ready here, you see? So it's the peach truck is coming.
Nice.
We should have a peach fest.
Why not?
You see what I'm
That's a
saying?
good idea.
Yes, I love nothing. There is nothing better.
I'll see you guys. I'll see you on Saturday. Happy birthday. Happy Father's Day, Carl.
Okay. Thank you, Crystal.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Save some peaches at the
Yes.
produce for me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peaches.
Yes.
Love
Wow.
peaches. Don't you love? I mean, getting one off.
Yeah.
Like I'll walk up and down those aisles at Sholin till I find the right one.
Yeah.
And I know it because I did produce at Victory Markets.
Yeah.
I know how to pick my peaches.
You know how? Yeah. Yeah. You know the secret.
Good stuff.
When to
and
have 'em.
boy, that just dripping down your shirt.
I can't.
and your chin.
Tina can do that. She can pick them out. You know, out of the bin. I always.
There is
I can never do it.
nothing better. Now, cherries you have to eat at the right time.
Yeah.
Once they get soggy, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
So at the right time, I think we're beginning to hit that time when the California cherry season, and you bite into that cherry. It's got to be hard, but sweet and juicy, not over like mushy, like
Right.
you kind of squeeze them in there, and they lose their taste. Fruit and vegetable especially fruit, has to be at the right time.
Do you like plums? You like
Oh,
plums?
but they have to be,
They have to be
again,
ripe.
soft.
Yeah.
I mean,
But not too.
right,
You know,
not mushy.
Right.
But just the
Right.
right crunch.
And you got to make sure that the whole thing is ripe.
Yes.
Because sometimes the
You
bottom
get that.
of it won't be.
I don't like a hard, like you bite into a
Right.
plum and it's hard.
right.
Well, I would have eaten an apple if I
Well,
wanted
that's it, yeah.
something. And
Not
and
the
if they're
same.
hard, they lose their taste. But
Right.
you can throw them in like a paper bag or leave them on the counter.
Yes,
And a couple
yeah,
days later,
yeah.
they're perfect.
So
but
fruit should not be kept
in the refrigerator.
in a refrigerator. Is that right? It
Well,
should be some
refrigeration can sort of delay the progress.
right.
So if you do it right and you put it in the refrigerator and pull it out the right time and then
Right.
stick it on it, then you do like a little
But
bit
what
of a
you're doing
balancing
is
act.
you're basically dehydrating the fruit if you keep them in the fridge
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah. But they make these little special areas
I've
of the
seen those.
refrigerator
Yeah,
that keeps
yeah.
everything fresh.
Yep.
And like watermelon, the right watermelon at the right time of year.
You're right.
Is just like when we were doing it for the stroll, they were perfect.
Yeah.
They were. But I have to say, and I don't know if there's any science behind it, or whether it's true or not, but I would have to say that the watermelon with seeds seem to have tasted better.
You know, you are correct,
but
sir.
I'm not sure.
The old days when they had all the watermelons with seeds, they had a much better taste than the seedless. You're right.
And, you know, and nothing better than a honeydew that's ripe, a cantaloupe that's ripe, Santa Claus. Do you ever, now, if people walk by and they go to the supermarket, you see these weird casabas and all these, you've got to try them. Take a little prosciutto, wrap it around. Oh, better than steak, to me. To me, that's better than steak.
And cantaloupe.
Nothing better.
Nothing
or
better.
Honeydew or...
But do you remember when we were young, when you were in the produce, when you were working there, watermelons used to be this long.
I know.
They were this long.
They were
You
huge.
know, they're seeded.
Now they're getting smaller.
They're like
I paid
this.
$8 at Market Basket for watermelons.
You can't
and we
even,
bought like 20.
Can you still buy them that big? I mean,
I
does
don't
anyone,
see them.
Yeah.
I think maybe if you go down, like...
Maybe at a fruit growers.
When I was in like North Carolina, the big push was obvious. You know, there was a section that was a big push on peanuts.
Okay. Yep.
It was a big push on them.
Yep.
And everything was peanuts and covered in chocolate and this and light chocolate, dark chocolate, you know, clusters, everything.
Yep.
But certain places, you know, like nothing better than a properly ripened pineapple.
Yes.
But on the other hand, there's nothing worse than watermelon that's gone bad or any fruit that's gone bad.
That's gone bad. Or that isn't ripe enough yet. That's really still not ripe.
Right,
So.
like a banana, right? Oh, well, you're right. To open up a cantaloupe that's not ripened and you're eating it, you may as well just eat a piece of cardboard.
Well, that's it. And it's bitter. So, near the rind is bitter.
Yeah.
So it's,
But this is the season now. We're going to start to get, you know, things from the South, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, peaches will be coming. This all the cherries will start moving this way.
Speaking of peaches, we got the clip.
Oh, let's do the peach truck.
Oh,
I think this is so cool.
Yeah.
The peach truck's coming. The peach truck's coming.
Keith's all alone back there. The master controller.
That's just me.
Okay. We'll have to narrate. Oh, yeah. Huh. The peach truck.
I guess they do tours.
The Georgia peaches.
Look at the lines.
Yeah. The peach truck. Wow, that is cool.
Look at the
Wow.
lines.
There's peach
She's
freaks.
got her peaches.
Peach. People love peaches. Wow. That's pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're back here at Inside
cool.
Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor. The executive director here at LTV is Carp Piermarini, and we're talking about the peach truck. And it's coming, I don't know when it's coming here, but I know there are a whole group of people in Leominster that, so you can get, I don't know how many pounds, or 100 pounds. So a lot of people, you know, prepare for it. They know when they're coming.
Right.
And they get their crew together and the kids and they get the table ready and they freeze them and some for this, some for the eating, some for that. And it's this whole thing.
Yeah.
And you can see the video, well done.
Yeah.
Well merchandised, they sell cookbook, they sell all kinds of...
It's like those Honey Bell oranges that come out once a year. You know, and they're really ripe and juicy and they're beautiful. And it's only, you know, for about 6 weeks, 5 weeks out of the year.
So that's why I get excited, and like I said, and then the apples come. So our season, so this doesn't interfere with other seasons because other people have been picking strawberries for. But you know, I haven't seen many places selling strawberries. In Pennsylvania, I didn't see anybody selling strawberries out there.
You know, I got to tell you a funny story. We're talking about watermelons, and you know, Tina's always when she goes to pick a watermelon, she'll go up to the big bin, the Gaylord of watermelons, and she'll rap on them.
Yeah, you got to hit them.
And people always going by always laugh because they think, you know, this woman is crazy. She doesn't know what she's doing. There's no way you can tell the ripeness of a watermelon. Let me tell you, there is a way. If you know how to listen for the right sound, right, Dean? Listen to the right sound, and you can get a really ripe watermelon. So yeah, there is a method to madness. You know?
To everything.
Yeah.
This is how you can tell, right? Anyway, yeah, it's exciting because the season will start. Starts with strawberries around here and rhubarb, and it's just a continuation all the way until we get the, you know, well, I don't know when. It seems like in July they're picking the first strawberries. I mean, the first tomatoes.
Tomatoes, yeah.
And you know, people start growing them in their houses, and usually up at up at Go Farm. They're picking them in I don't know what this season's like, if the ground is warm enough to grow them, but that's why they put that plastic on.
Yeah.
To accelerate the ground needs
remember
that
when we were
heat.
doing the great tomato, these guys that really take pride in growing their tomatoes in their gardens.
Yes.
And they know exactly when to plant them so that they have the first tomato in the neighborhood.
And
Nobody
then the
else
next
has
one,
tomatoes.
and the next batch,
the
all the
next
way
batch.
through.
Yeah.
See, I think our tomatoes taste better. Like I've had tomatoes native in other places.
Yeah.
There's something about
It's different.
the taste here.
Yeah.
And maybe they pick them too soon in other places because they have to transport them. So when
Right.
you bite into one,
Right.
I mean, when you get a good tomato around here, you've got a tomato that's like eating a peach.
Right.
You don't need anything.
Well, that's like a lot of these big restaurants, that have the room, will put a garden right behind the restaurant.
Yeah, we have-
And the
we
chefs pull up,
We have basil and
Yeah,
Thai, and we have all kinds of things that we can
Yeah.
use to make pesto
Yeah.
right on
right
site.
on, yeah. Go out and they pick it, it's fresh, and it makes a huge, huge difference in
So
the taste.
exciting times coming here as the season, as we get into the middle part of June. Graduation is over tonight. Today was one of those days. We started early with a meeting and then a bunch of phone calls, and then we did our morning briefing a little early.
Yep.
Had to go to a funeral in Brewster down at the Cape.
Oh, yeah?
So went down, went to the funeral. As soon as it was
That's a
over,
long
came back.
ride.
Made it back to Out on the Rocks, had a
Yeah.
grand opening. They're doing this, they've expanded. We made it there for 2:30. Funeral was at 11, so zip,
Wow.
yep. And didn't even see any water while we're out there, not even a puddle. I thought at least we'd see the ocean.
Right.
And so so Out on the Rocks opened this new sort of separate storefront closer to where Hannaford is. And it features all local artists. So it's like Etsy, and
Okay.
only without all the fees. I'm sure
Right.
there's a fee or a
Right.
percentage,
Right.
but a lot of local talent there, which is exciting. And then we went to Erdman Way, 80 Erdman Way, where Mark Monaquillo opened another. In fact, did he give me his card? Another Edward Jones
Oh, yeah.
office.
Okay.
And he's the financial advisor, local kid, right? Done well.
Yeah.
3 years to get your own. 3 years you've got
yeah,
to
to
serve
get
under
your own-
someone
wow.
else's wing.
Wow.
And he's in Suite 202. And this is, I don't know how many there are now, Edward Jones. There used to be one
Yeah,
downtown.
yeah.
And then it was, so there's got to be at least 3 or 4.
Wow.
And I think that means people plan their
Yeah.
finances.
Yeah.
And that's what Edward Jones does. So Mark Monaquillo. And now we're here. And then at 6, we're going to go over to Somerset School to hand out graduation diplomas to the 8th grade students at
Nice.
Somerset.
That's good. Yeah.
So busy.
I guess.
day it
You
is.
should get a Leominster City helicopter.
Yes.
That when you have to go to these
But
commitments.
how would that look on Facebook? What do you think it would say? How would that go on Facebook?
I don't know. Let's see how it. Let's fly it over there. Let's fly it there and see what comes out.
Yeah, let's post it. Let's say, do you think we should have...
Just don't put. I suggest.
Oh, no, I already did it. I already said, Carp Piermarini, LTV is suggesting
we buy
that we
a
buy
city helicopter.
a city helicopter.
But
know,
then
if
you need a pilot, and
Well,
then you need maintenance.
I've gotten better at, sometimes you're a couple minutes late because something's going on, or, you're at the end of a phone call and you're trying to wrap it up, and you don't want to have another phone call because you want to get it done then because you
Right.
don't know what's coming next. So you can, if you properly plan, you can get a lot done in a day.
Yes, proper planning. That's the key.
What hurts is when I try to, I got a million things, and then I'm like, now what was it that I wanted to do? Then all of a sudden you
Something comes
forget.
up. Yeah. Well, tell me about it.
Yeah. So it's important overall
As you get older, the
to
forgetfulness
put
increases.
things down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, by trying to remember things, also I think keeps your brain, it's kind of like a puzzle.
Right.
The information's out there, you got to
Right.
pull it out. So I think at the same time, as much as you can remember, for as long as you can remember. So what I've heard in the past is that you shouldn't get upset because you can't, you come out of Walmart and you can't find your car.
Right.
And people are like, oh no, I'm forgetting stuff lately. What they say is, don't be concerned that you can't find your car. Be concerned if you didn't know you drove there.
I see. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
If you can't find your keys to your car, don't panic, because panic if you didn't know you had a set of keys to your car.
Right.
That way of thinking.
Yep. Yep.
That's much different, and
Yeah.
I think we all tend to panic. Like,
Yep.
I'm forgetting things. I don't.
Yep.
Oh, let me see. It takes another minute to remember a street or a
Right.
name of somebody. Like, I can't think of that
Yeah.
person's name, but you remembered that person.
Yep.
You can see that person.
Yep.
You know, you've had conversations with that person. It just slipped your mind. You just not to worry.
You know, it's funny. I watch the national news every night, and usually, those at the time you watch the national news, the commercials they have during the national news are all geared to drugs for older people. Different drugs.
Shocking.
Because only the older people watch the national news on television.
For the most part.
So,
yeah. Certain TV shows, they know who's watching.
right.
Right? So when that F-150 shows up, there's a reason why it shows up.
Right.
I'd like to get my buddy Andy on here, because that's what he does for a living.
Oh, yeah?
So he can take and aim any commercial
Yeah.
at any demographics, because they know what you're watching at what time you're watching. The very second. They know how much money you make. They know last time you bought a vehicle.
You're right.
What they know the demographics of who is buying those
Right.
F-150 electric trucks.
Right.
They're not going to waste it on. They're not going to waste their valuable, financial resources advertising on a show that. So, I mean, if they're advertising a particular medication, it's going to be aimed at a certain demographic.
Right. Well, the medications, quite a few of them are for memory,
Right.
enhancing memory. Right. So I always tell Tina, if I didn't, I would like to take some of that, but I keep forgetting to get some.
There you go.
There you go. So it's a
Or-
vicious cycle.
Or they say you can buy these certain vitamins.
Right.
And they'll always have some guy on there that's got a white coat, and he's a doctor.
Right.
A doctor of antology. He's doctor of ants or something.
Right. And they look like pro wrestlers with a white
Yep.
coat on. Yeah.
He had a wet coat, and guy's 95, and he's doing 100 push-ups a day, and you just take this stuff,
Right.
and whatever it is whatever's wrong with you, this is whatever is wrong with you, this fixes
Cures
it.
It's like the old snake oil salesman.
Yes.
That's,
Like in The Wizard of Oz when
Yeah.
she's running away.
He's
You're
bottled.
running away.
yeah.
And she starts to tell me, oh, no. Professor Marvel doesn't guess. Professor Marvel knows.
Marvel. Right.
Close your eyes. And he grabs the thing out of her pocket and sees
Right.
that you're running away. You want to see big mountains and big oceans.
Right.
Yes, yes. And then she says, and I want to see the crown heads of Europe. And he says, do you know any? Because on the side of his car, it says, step right up
You're
and
right,
see the
yeah.
crown heads of Europe. And he
right.
says, do you know any?
Yeah.
Ah, that's a good one. Speaking of the Wizard of Oz, when I interviewed, when I met Meinhardt, who was the guy that rolls the scroll out
Right.
that declares the Wicked Witch
Yep.
dead, he declares that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said to him, and he remembered everything.
Everything. Yeah.
And I said, Meinhardt, did they know that everything they wrote, like every other line was going to be memorable, would cause you to, like, 50, 60 years later to remember, that line? Why? Do you know any?
Yeah.
Was that the intent? And he said they were putting together, well, remember, Oz had already been writing books
Yeah.
for decades
Yeah.
before the first Wizard of Oz. I don't even know if he was alive when the first Oz.
I got a story about that. You might know it, but I'll go ahead, finish
So
what you thought.
I said, was this like, did they realize the impact? Some of the lines, at the end when they say, you have a brain,
Right.
a heart, the nerve, right, the courage, and he didn't have a medal or he didn't have a diploma, and all of a sudden, he got the diploma, and all of a sudden, and he says. And where I come from, there are people that do nothing all day but good deeds.
Right.
And they call them good deed doers.
Right.
I said, this stuff is marvelous. This stuff is incredible.
Well, the interesting thing, those books were written by
Frank
Baum,
Baum.
B-A-U-M,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Did you ever hear a story about the guy who played Professor Marvel? I can't remember his name now in the film. But he went to wardrobe because they were trying to find a coat for him to play Professor Marvel, and a coat for him to play the Wizard, you know. And so he was going through wardrobe at MGM, and they have thousands and millions of coats there. So they pull one off. You know, in those days, you know, the studios used to get stuff from thrift shops and different areas, and then just keep them in their wardrobe department. So they pull one off, and they put it on. I forget the actor's name, Morgan or whatever. They put it on him, and he says, "This one fits. This one's perfect. This one fits perfect." And he opens it up and looks, and there's a label inside with the person who owned the coat, Frank L. Baum.
Come on.
The author of The Wizard of Oz.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are a little dark.
Yes.
We've read The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
We've read the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, page
Well,
by
you got to
page.
remember, the books were the books, and then whoever wrote the screenplay for the
Right.
film is
Right.
the one that came up with these cool little.
He had a lot of the characters. As
Yeah.
we were reading the book, you know, the
Right.
books, they were like that thick.
Right.
A lot of the characters were from other characters in the book.
Right.
Or a combination of the two
Yes.
in reality. So Meinhardt said, Meinhardt knew everybody, he remembered everything, and so he used to work at the Wisconsin State Fairs.
Okay.
Him and his brothers.
Right.
And it was a standard thing, big times. You know, the fair was big, and he was a short person. He wasn't. He was a small person, not
Right.
a midget.
Right. Right.
And he said that in the summer he learned from this guy, a rodeo guy. You know, the guys that he learned from him. The guy that, you know, you throw the hooks, you know, the little things.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
You know, and he said, I learned how to draw people in.
Right.
Who never intended. They were trying to get by me. So they were trying to walk like 500 yards from me.
Yeah.
And I knew, this guy taught me the secret, the trick, to get them over to you.
Right.
And
Did you ask him what it was?
well, it's hey, you over there in the blue coat,
Right,
you know, hey,
right.
3, come on, you kids. You know, 3 for a buck. Everybody's a winner. And the little kid's like, Daddy, can we go through? I can get to those kids. The hoop looks that big.
Right.
Oh, you can do it. Then they're looking at their father like, Daddy, you can do anything. Come on. You can help
Right.
win something for me, right? And he said, after that, life became like that.
Yeah.
He couldn't work he couldn't serve his country in World War II, so he got his license to fly a plane and joined the Civil Air Patrol,
Wow.
where they moved goods and stuff. He was the Oscar Mayer Wiener vehicle.
Yeah.
He drove that. And he told me, he says, we got to get the book in here sometime
Yeah.
and just pick some pieces out of it, because he did do it. But he was one of the last ones, so he
Yes,
was
he
on every
was.
TV
Yeah.
show, everything.
Yeah.
So he said, I got a pension from Oscar Mayer Wiener. He goes, I drove that thing for like 30 years.
Wow.
I said, really? He goes, and you know what else? He said, if I had a problem anywhere in the country while I was out, anything, I talked to one person, Oscar. So he would call,
Wow.
and he would get him. See, everything with him was about achievement, about the fact that he was
Right.
smaller, and
Compensating for his.
the perception that when you're smaller apparently meant you were inferior and
Right.
you weren't capable, and so life for him became a challenge.
Yeah.
And to succeed.
Right.
And he did. He was very successful.
Wow.
And but it was just an interesting, and as I'll tell the last part of it, and then someday we'll bring in his book and some pictures. We met at his agent said, I heard you were a big Wizard of Oz fan. I said, yeah. He said, we don't want any press. He'd like to have dinner with you up at the Best Western where Great Wolf is.
Yeah.
And at 6 o'clock I met him. That came down exactly 6 o'clock. And we stayed there till 9.
Wow.
On nonstop. Him just talking about everything, just chatting. Exactly 9 o'clock.
Should have had a little digital recorder.
9
with you.
o'clock, he said, well, Mr. Mayor, I go to bed at 9 o'clock or 9:30 or whatever
Yeah.
it was. And he said, are you around tomorrow? I said, yeah, I'd love to get my picture taken with you and all that. And he said, okay. And at 9 o'clock he left. Now, this is May. This is after May 15th, but before Memorial Day. I don't remember the exact
Right.
date. So now remember, Fitchburg's kind of higher up there in the hill. I walked outside, and it was snowing. Those big wet snowflakes.
Yeah, yeah.
I ran back inside. So, and it was somebody I knew that worked at the desk, and I said, "You got to come outside and verify that it is in fact snowing out."
Right.
Because remember the whole poppies that they wake up and it's
snowing. Yeah,
and that's when it goes from black and white to color. Is that not ironic?
it is. Yeah.
So I'll leave some more for another show because it's 4:40. But the other interesting thing that you might want to know is, so he gets all dressed up in his costume, everything. He takes it. We take a picture, and he said, "That'll be $15."
Wow.
So I said,
right.
I thought he was kidding.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, I started to chuckle," and then I realized he was serious.
Wow.
You see, it all goes back to those days, and it had nothing to do with the $15
Yeah.
at all. He kept, when they used to throw, they had the, what do they call them? When they used to put the posters up,
Yeah.
boards or billets
Yeah.
or something they call them. And he used to ask, "What are you doing with those?" And they would throw them away because they made so many movies at
Yeah.
the time. It was like every 2 weeks there was another movie.
Right.
And he asked, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Oh, we just throw them away." He kept them. And he kept them in a safety deposit area. And he was so proud. He was such a good businessman. He was so proud of it.
It's smart.
And he said, now that I own them all, anytime these memorabilia places or anybody wants to sell them, they have to buy them from me. So he would send his agent in to the printer. And if they said they were going to print 500 or 5,000, the agent would stand right there while they printed every single one to make
Wow.
sure they didn't print 1,000 or 2,000.
Yeah.
He was very shrewd.
Yeah.
Very shrewd. Very proud of his achievement despite, at the time, limitations that were perceived. Right? He didn't have any real limitations.
Yeah.
They were perceived limitations.
Right. Right.
Right? So,
That's amazing.
an interesting
Quite the guy.
Guy he was. He passed away.
So he wrote a book. Did he write a book?
Yes.
He did.
There's a book out there. It's an autobiography.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet. I will. I remember he was making, doing the rounds on like Dave Letterman and all of that.
So how long ago did he pass away?
I'd say in the last
5 years, maybe?
8 years,
'Cause
maybe.
I seem to remember, but I
Yeah.
can't remember the date.
Yeah, it was a big thing. It was like the national news that
Yeah, it was,
mine had
yeah.
passed away.
It was the last one,
One of
right?
the last, the Wizard of
Yeah,
Oz. There was
yeah.
only a couple left, and just an interesting guy. And his wife passed away. They had gotten in a very bad automobile accident in Florida where he was living, and she died from that accident, and it kind of set him back.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I asked him, like, did they know what? And he goes, no, they had no clue. They were just banging out movies, almost like, and I don't want to equate it to this, but almost like the Hallmark movies, where they're just, they know there's X amount of dollars they have for a budget. It always ends the same way. It's maybe somebody divorced or their husband died, and they go away, get away where it's quiet, and they meet, they got the farmhouse or the bed and breakfast, and then you meet the guy or whatever. Next thing you know, there's usually the kids involved, and happily ever after. And he said it was pretty much that it was a movie.
Yeah.
And they were producing movies
Yeah.
at the time. TV wasn't the big thing, and people still listened to the radio, and off they went.
Yeah.
Similar to those shows that made it from radio and made it over to TV. Now not everybody made it.
Right.
Lucille Ball.
Right.
Some people managed to make that transition from radio.
Yeah.
But not everybody.
No.
There were a lot of people who they just couldn't. Once you saw them on screen, they couldn't recreate that.
That's right. They were different.
What was interesting on the radio
Right.
wasn't so interesting as a plot.
It's because on the radio, you imagine what these people look like.
Right.
And then
But
once you
Jackie
see 'em,
Gleason just commanded television.
Yeah.
And I imagine radio would have been okay for him, but Fibber McGee and Marley didn't do so well.
Right.
It was a blockbuster on radio.
On radio, yeah.
The Gildersleeve, some of those things, Groucho Marx, they did a pretty good transition over. A lot of the variety shows, it was radio, and then they did well on TV,
Right.
but a lot didn't. You would have thought, hey, coming soon, and game shows, some of
Right.
those things just didn't make it. 978-534-1660. 26 is the number here at Inside Leominster, Carp Piermarini. Graduation's over. A lot of the sporting events are over now. Go into a little bit of a hiatus here, or are we still doing sports?
Our techs are on vacation. Bradley's out this week. Keith is out next week. So, this is our vacation time.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it slows down a little bit. But then, there's always something going on. There's always something happening. And there's no sports right now, so we use that time to do other things. And
a lot of history at LTV. You've encapsulated forever.
Yeah.
Things that we thought we lost. Little by little, people come in, either the historic commission or people will call you and say, hey, I heard you guys are into history, and you've been able to take that history and convert it into things, to files that will be with us forever.
Yeah. Well, we're lucky, years ago we had Bob Sardelli do the Neighborhood Snapshot series. That was 50, 60 shows where he interviewed people about the neighborhoods in Leominster back at the turn of the last century, some of them going back to the 20s and 30s. And all that, most of those people that he interviewed are gone. Yeah. They're gone. So.
And you can't get that back anymore.
No.
Once it's gone. And, guys like John Proetti.
Yeah.
Who still remember, Alfonso or Rocca.
Right.
He had such a memory.
Yeah.
Henry Lanzer had a good memory. My brother Frank's got a good memory of things.
See, I know, and a lot of those people are too shy and they don't want to come on TV.
Yeah, if you say, hey, listen, can we throw a microphone in front of you?
No way.
Adolfo, I asked a million times.
Right.
And he was in his 90s, and I'm like, hey, not to rub it in, but
Well, now technology is there. We're very close to being able to download from people's brains into digital memory, and we're very close to that. So that's what you do, with a person like that. You can't do it yet, but you put your finger in here for about 10 minutes, and then it's all downloaded.
Well, reminded. And we get so busy that you're just looking at what's in front of you.
Right.
So to get a project off the ground like the rail trail or these big construction projects or a school or a fire station or a police station, it just involves so much that you never really look back.
Right.
You never have a time to look back. Right. It's kind of like being on business, and you could get flown into an airport. You run to your meetings, you jump back onto a plane, you head out, and it's like I never got a chance to really see where I was, other than the airport,
well, that's
and the drive to and from.
In the old days, they would do these like time capsules when they built a big building, new building. They would put a time capsule in there so that the people in the future would remember what it was like before the building was there, or blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's always a good thing to do.
So you never get that chance, that real opportunity to see where you are. So sometimes somebody brings something up, and all of a sudden it'll jog my memory, and I'm thinking, I really haven't done a good job documenting it in a formal way.
Right.
So I'm like, I just got to turn on my phone and hit the recorder and just jab.
I'll tell you, that is one of the beautiful things about social media, because when things are posted on social media, they're there. And they're there for they'll probably be there forever. So that is going to be a historical resource.
To be able to go back.
Yeah. Look
and
at
the cloud.
photos.
Think of what's on the cloud.
Right. Yeah.
Think of,
now every image that's ever been posted on any social media is in some cloud database somewhere. Every single photo. And with photo recognition software, you can find anything in those photos.
Well, even on Facebook, if you want to go back to pictures that you took in January of 2015, there it is. You go back and look through all your pictures. That's why I say I very seldom have a chance to look back.
Yeah.
And everything moves so quick in front of us. Let's just do a few.
You have some photos of the day and some.
Yeah, let's do postings. I don't know if people wait for this, but here we go.
Moving over to the other computer as we speak.
Yep. Keith is back there. He's a one-person operation today. Just a reminder, it's Juneteenth, and everything is closed pretty much, or at least City Hall is closed. So if you need to do business tomorrow, maybe you have a marriage certificate, you're getting married on that day, you better get it tomorrow. A building permit, some sort of business at City Hall. All right, let's look at the numbers from yesterday, Kyle. almost 35,000 people that we know of got tested. Now, that doesn't count home testing.
Right.
But a low rate, we were at almost 10% at one point, a low rate of 1543 tested positive. And if you look at the deaths, still kind of high, still higher than I thought statewide at 13. Almost 20,000 people, according to their calculations, have died from COVID.
That's
Just
amazing.
amazing. 149 new cases in all of Worcester County. We're down 135. We're dropping significantly. In the last 14 days, we're at 179. And if you look at hospitalization, we're down, trickling down to 510. We're down almost 200 at one point across the state, and there are 4,000 beds. Intensive care went up a little bit to 44 and intubated at 13. Now, remember, they break it down now by two categories. Those that came in with symptoms as it directly is related to COVID, and those that came in for other things, totally other things.
Yeah.
And they got tested and found out they were testing positive. Here's some news. I know it's in little lettering, but here's some of the projects we're working on. Barrett Park's going out to bid for a new playground, new grill, area for handicap, accessibility, and I'll tell you, that place went from a couple of people walking around the lake every day
It's amazing.
to a very busy place. It's beautiful. We have church services there, corporate events.
Yeah.
It's just, people get married there all the time.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. One of the few quiet spots left in an urban community. MassWorks grant we submitted for the Monoosnock Brook. Monoosnock Brook, when you see that project done, it's really going to be an eye-opener.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great project. We got $865,000 for the last piece of the rail trail.
Yep.
And we put on our application again for Monoosnock Brook for over $2 million. We got some grants for new sidewalk tractors and renovations of the 3 fire stations. Fire chief and the fire department doing a great job. The had a meeting today for the new police station. That's going well. And it's Arborist Appreciation Day. It's Bloomsday. Corpus Christi Day. The Feast of Corpus Christi. Fresh Veggies Day. Look at that cow. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Is there anything better than when we were at Chero's, when he had those cold Italian beans and they poured olive oil over them with garlic? Is there anything better?
And they would protect those beans and the seeds with their lives.
Yes, they're
Nobody
special.
could. You ask for some seeds? Nuh-uh, sorry.
Yeah,
You
we don't
get-
share those
No,
seeds.
you don't share.
Those are heirlooms. Fresh Veggie Day. It's International Day of Family Remittance. It's International Day of the African Child and National Blooms Day, National Career Nurse Assistance Day. Thank goodness for them. And National Fudge Day. And I think every single nurse's assistant and nurse should get fudge. And it's World Sea Turtle Day. Did you ever sign up for those things at the back of the comic books there for the sea turtles?
Yes, flying, or what are these?
Monkeys or something?
Sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow, and you're using high tech today, which is really not high tech, but you can follow the police station project by going to, LeominsterPoliceStationProject.com, and the rail trail. We haven't got a time yet. I'm not sure what's going on, but
we gotta
next
figure that
Wednesday
out.
is the opening of the rail trail. Check
it?
for information, TwinCitiesTrail.com.
I'll have to remember that. Send Bradley down.
And let's see, next week, the week from tonight, right around 5 o'clock, about a week from now, is Pink Flamingo Day. We have a lot of fun. It's like people that are into flamingos are fun people.
Yeah.
5 to 7 o'clock, we'll have things for sale. We'll have, we always give a trophy to the most enthusiastic and best dressed Flinkonian. Pink Flamonian. How's that?
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, and it's not. And then Bargain Days coming up, and then National Night Out. We've got the first Saturday in every month is the Leominster Farmers Market, speaking of fresh things.
Wow.
And National Night Out, we're combining this year with Kids
with the
Day.
kids, yeah,
and then Johnny Appleseed Craft Fair. I think they're going to have to cancel. They couldn't get enough crafters to come in. They can't get enough people to commit for the event. And it's $30,000 just to set up for the event. We make that back from ticket sales. But if you don't have enough vendors, you lose the essence of what it's all about. Beer tasting. And then Starburst on the 27th.
Right.
Tonight, Carter Park, another free concert. Sonny's doing a great job over there. Another free concert. The Perfect Alibi. Tonight, country rock band. And don't forget, Next month, we'll start the Leominster Colonial Band on the 12th. That's 113th consecutive season of free concerts. This weekend is the Vanessa Marcotte Foundation's event, Run for Vanessa.org. It's coming up this coming Saturday on the 18th up at Mount Wachusett at 9:30. And don't forget, that's right, Leominster Day at the Woosocks on the 24th. Go to the website, buy your tickets. Starburst again on the 27th. And I'll just do pictures of the week, Carl, because I never know what's on here.
Well, we have to do them quick.
All right. There's a new design for the playground at Barrett Park. There's the police station, really coming along, substantial progress. Look at that place.
Yep.
And the fire department did some training with new recruits.
Yeah.
Well done the other day. And a special training session it was. Getting ready, we're doing testing on pink flamingos. Testing, 1 flamingo, 2 flamingos. And DPW's out there fixing those troubled spots in the city and doing a great job. There's work route on so much equipment down there on Route 12.
Yeah.
Again, another $10 million project here, and it's state funded and really going to help down there. Celebrating art at the Spanish Center. We were there the other day. What a great program they run. They run such good programs out of these little locations, do great things. We had a firefighter memorial, one of my favorite tribute events to go to, remembering all of those firefighters who've fallen and passed away over the years. Every single one of them remembered. And then the Montechusett Chorale Spring Concert. Ron Gerard was there to film.
Yep.
And it didn't get a chance to be there. It's the first one that I wasn't able to make it. I just had too many conflicts, but we'll be watching it, Carl.
Yep.
That's what's good about LTV. And we just had an absolute ball at the Stroll.
Okay, we gotta
All right.
wrap it up.
We're ready to go here. Welcome back to D'Angelo's. All right, out of time. Thanks, Carl, for coming on.
Yep.
We're out of time here at Inside Leominster. Remember, yes, be kind, generous when you can. Be nice, be patient, be well. God bless you. And thanks for watching. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. You got to show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by Landmark Self-Storage in Leominster, landmarkselfstorage.com, and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
This is LTV.